President Donald Trump argued Monday for the use of stop and frisk policing to stem Chicago's street violence epidemic, 5 years after a federal judge ruled that the way New York City employed the idea was unconstitutional because it was applied largely to blacks and Hispanics. "It works, and it was meant for problems like Chicago," the president told police chiefs at their annual convention in Orlando, Florida. Trump also called Democrats anti-police for launching political attacks on our courageous police officers. dailymail.co.uk 1 2018 10/8/23 4,868,416 6,254,331 Image of 11 1,539,219,203. Height equals 423. Width equals 634. Alt equals class equals book. Border img. Share copy link to paste in your message. Politicians who spread this dangerous anti-police sentiment make life easier for criminals and more dangerous for law-abiding citizens, and they also make it more dangerous for police, and it must stop now, he said. Trump has in recent weeks used public rallies to repeatedly brand Democrats the party of crime. He said Monday that former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who now serves on his personal legal team, had a very strong program of stop and frisk. And it went from an unacceptably dangerous city to one of the safest cities in the country, and I think the safest big city in the country. So it works. It's got to be properly applied, but stop and frisk works. The idea behind stop and frisk policing is to temporarily detain, question and sometimes search civilians for weapons, drugs and other illicit items on street corners and in other public places. Trump insisted several times during his 2016 campaign that Chicago should adopt it with gusto. dailymail.co.uk 1 2018 10/8/23 4,868,986,254,331 Image of 12 1,539,393,568. Height equals 489. Width equals 634. Alt equals class equals book. Border img. Share copy link to paste in your message. I think Chicago needs stop and frisk, he told Fox News Channel interviews in September 2016. People can criticize me, but you have to do something. If they see a person with a gun, or they think they have a gun, they'll look and they'll take the gun away. In Chicago, 2,346 people have been shot since January 1. That's on a pace to undercut the total of 2,976 in 2017, but will still likely come to 48 or more shootings per week. The crime spree is a terrible blight on that city, and we'll do everything possible to get it done, Trump said Monday. I know the law enforcement people in Chicago, and I know how good they are. They could solve the problem if they were simply allowed to do their job, and do their job properly. Hundreds of other jurisdictions rely on versions of stop and frisk known as Terry stops. but federal judge Shira Scheindlin ruled in 2013 that New York's approach unfairly targeted minorities. Terry v. Ohio was a 1968 Supreme Court case, decided 8-1, that gave police the power to stop and frisk a person they reasonably suspect is illegally armed or committing a crime or about to commit a crime. JPG height equals 485, width equals 634, alt equals class equals book border img share copy link to paste in your message. dailymail.co.uk 2018 10/8/23 4,868,406,254,331 image and 91,539,036,114,123. height equals 417, width equals 634, alt equals class equals book border img share copy link to paste in your message. When Trump advocated during a 2016 presidential debate for a renewed emphasis on stop and frisk strategies, Hillary Clinton claimed it had been declared unconstitutional. NBC News moderator Lester Holt took her side. In a Wall Street Journal op-ed published the following day, Giuliani argued that Scheindlin had only objected to the way his mayoral successor, Michael Bloomberg, expanded the program from about 100,000 stops annually to more than 600,000, the vast majority being of African Americans. The judge, he wrote, found that the practice was not unconstitutional in general, but unconstitutional as applied in New York. Police seized contraband from at least 30% of people stopped by New York City police before Scheindlin issued her ruling. But 9 out of 10 of those stopped were minorities. After the Bloomberg administration appealed Scheindlin's ruling, appellate judges allowed the city to continue stop and frisk policing and removed Scheindlin from the case after determining that she tried to steer the case to her own courtroom. The appeals court also found that allowing Scheindlin's decision to stand would cause irreparable harm to city residents. After Mayor Bill de Blasio took office, his administration withdrew the appeal. Last month, the New York Times asked Bloomberg whether stop and frisk in his era came with civil rights problems. He replied, "The courts found that there were not.